Okay, so where we're headed is called the Wingard Family Farm Cemetery. It was put here in, I would say, probably I think the earliest grave that I read on there was 1870. So it's a little bit of a walk to get here. But as you can see, it's on this old trail and surrounded by a water company. So I found this place accidentally. When I used to hike on the other side, there's a 25-30 degree hill that I had to hike, and I did this on purpose because I wanted a tough hike. And then I found this cemetery by accident. So believe me, this is the easy trail here, and I'm wearing sandals with no socks and walking on this gravel road, so it's not so comfortable. Anyway, actually I'm wearing my Crocs. Family Farm Cemetery. So I did some research on it. So when I found this a few years ago through my hiking, that I was very surprised, and my fiance, you know, she loves these places that I find, and so then I had to do research on it. So this is bear country also. This is Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Well, it used to be bear country here in this area. I'm sure they get a bear here every once in a while, but anyway, so there's some wildlife out here, not too much, mostly deer. So we're coming up on the cemetery. So the research I did, oh, here's a deer. I don't know if you can see that. There's a deer. Oh, it spotted me. It's looking at me. Let's see if I can. There it is. So, let's see. I'm trying to keep the camera steady, not so easy walking on this gravel road. Ah, there it goes. There she goes. Okay. Anyhow, so like I said, there's wildlife, but here is the grave site. So there actually, I had a friend named Wingard. Before I put this connection together, he already passed away. So what's so special about this is I think the earliest grave was from the 1870s, maybe even earlier. So anyway, what's so interesting about this, I got to show you this. Oh, actually, before I show you, there's a couple things I gotta. So let's try to find this old one first, and then I'll show you the more interesting details. Okay, so this was Daniel Wingard. It's very bright out here, so I hope you guys can see. Very bright. Okay, so in memory of Daniel Wingard, died July 9th, 1906, age 54 years old, 5 months, 23 days. So just interesting fact. In the old days, they used to put the date when they died and the exact years and months and days. That was a common thing that I found out. So they would get everything nowadays, just now we get just the year you were born, the year you died, and that's it. So also another interesting factoid was a lot of times the person buried was on the other side of the write-in. So I'm looking at this here, and then down here you would think the body would be buried, and maybe it is, I don't know. But in the old days they used to bury them on the other side of the write-in. Why? I don't know. And what's this? An interesting feather. This is probably a turkey feather, young, very soft. Wow, look at that. Has nice and neat little treasure here. Okay, so So that one wasn't so old, 1906, not a very old one. This one, you can't even read it. It's very worn down, and maybe if the sun wasn't so bright, I would be able to see it better. So this one, of course, is leaning. So this says, it looks like it says Peter Wingert died, I can't tell, 28, 19, oh, I can't see it. 1931 maybe, I can't tell. And of course it has age. Okay, let me try to find the old one, because I've been in here a few times already now. So here's an old one. Okay, even older than I remembered. Here's Barbara Weaver, died March 23rd, 1868. Age 29 years and 5 months, 7 days. So this is a very old cemetery plot, and of course, like I said, you have, this is Weaver. This is called the Wingard, but I think they married the Weavers. But interestingly enough, I just discovered this just now, that it looks like all the Weavers are buried in a row. So here's another one. Levi Weaver died April 8, 1866, it looks like, aged 31 years, 3 months, and 20 days. I was supposed to come out here yesterday, folks, and it rained all day yesterday. The ground's still a little murky, not so bad. But I'll show you more interesting detail. Here's an older one here. This is granite, as you can tell, but it's very, this says Weaver. So I'm assuming that, and you can't really read it, it's pretty worn out. Okay, so let me find a Wingard, because these are all, okay, so, and also we have these slabs here. They're just slate, because slate is very popular here out in Pennsylvania. And let's go to the other side. Okay, oh, this is what I wanted to show you guys. This is what's so cool. This is a Wingard. I can see Wingard here with a W-I-N-G-A-R-D. And also it has wife of 1882. Looks like 1882 age, but that's it. But look at this. This is hand carved from some probably family member out in the barn or something. This is hand carved. The other ones that you saw, of course, were professionally done. These are hand carved. So I never really seen these hand carved slabs of slate like this. I'm sure maybe it won't be the first time. I mean, the last time I see these. Here's another one, also hand carved on an angle. And this is a Wingard. And that's another thing. So this Wingard is spelled W-I-N-G-E-R-T. The others are spelled with a D. So, folks, I don't know. Maybe they were marrying their second, third cousins or something. I have no idea. But the Wingards are still out here. Like I forgot. I'm not so good when I tell my stories. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm all over the place. But what happens is, like I said, there's some Wingards with a D still in this area. I knew one of them, and I didn't know his family. I just knew one of the Wingards, and well, he's already passed away, so I never was able to put this together or tell him about this cemetery. Actually, here's another Wingard. So this name is still in this area. So this is 1871, 1873. This was a child, and that's marble, and of course you can tell that's professionally done. Compared to these hand-carved ones, and there's more hand-carved ones here I'll show you in a minute. And there's more interesting facts here. So this one says, infant son of Bamadori. So that's professionally done too, made of marble, compared to the slate ones. You can see the details are definitely. So anyway, so how far back this family went and everything, I never was able to find out. So this is died June 28, 1898, age 66 years old and 6 months, in loving memory in loving remembrance. And this is wife of Deesh, Deesh. So I don't know. And here's another one with the same Ish. Moses D. Ish died March 10, 1915, age 87 years old, 11 months, 8 days. So as you can tell that there's a couple of names here, but there's two different Wingards here with two different spellings. So also what you have is not just slate, but you have these marble stones here with nothing on them. This one might have something, but that's just a stone. Yeah, nothing, no name, no nothing on these. But there's a few of these, and can't really tell. Like this is slate, because like I said, slate is very popular here out in Pennsylvania. It's everywhere. Here's something with writing on there. This is 1920 or 1928. This is Bali, or this is a Wingard again, age 82 years old. It looks like it says. Oh, I'm sorry, Polly Wingard. The sun is very bright. It's hard to read these some. And here's something here too, but it's so worn out. I guess if I were to pour water on it. But these look like later stones here. And of course, here's another slate one. Let's see. One of these has just initials on it. Oh, it's this one right here. Yes. This is what's so interesting, folks. Look at this. So this is a WW, so two W's on top of each other, and there's an E, just an E. That's it. So I'm pretty sure you can see that with the WW. So that just has the initials on it only. And there's another one here too with just the initials. So here's another hand carved one. You can tell it's hand carved, and like I said, this was 1878, died April 15th, it looks like 1878. I can't really read, age 68 years old. So hand carved, folks, look at that. I mean, hand chiseled, and it has Roman numerals here. So I guess, I don't know. And here's another one, hand carved. This is what's so interesting, is these hand carved ones from the, you know, late 1800s. So really cool, really cool. Okay, so another interesting fact out here. Okay, so here's some marble ones I got with nothing on them. So I believe the water company takes care of this area because they cut the grass and everything. I've been out here many times where the grass wasn't cut, stones were laying down on its side. I've been out here probably a dozen times. Stones were laying down on the side, and then now somebody's taking better care of it. So what's interesting? Okay, another thing interesting. These slate stones. Oh, here's another one. I'm sorry. Got to show you this. This one's really wild looking. Look at that. Just, it has like a oval top, somebody's initials, and then that's it. There's nothing else on here. So look at that. You see that? Okay. It looks like a J, and that looks like a V. It might be a W, or it almost looks like there's an arrow right here. It actually, I think that really is an arrow. Maybe carved into the W, I don't know. But another interesting fact, these empty slate stones might be slave burial sites, because there's quite a few of them. And this was a farm in the 1800s. When the farm was here, when it started, I don't have a clue, but if they started burying, what was it, 1863 is the oldest one we saw out here. I believe it was 1863. Was it this one? Yeah, it looks like 1863 or 1865 or something like that. But so that was the old, but again, so in this, during the days when of slavery, a lot of times, you know, this was a farm, so they had workers out here, you know, slaves out here, Probably. They're not saying for sure. And here's another unmarked stone. Just a piece of slate sticking out. So what they would do is, if a slave died, from what I understand, some of my research I've done, they would bury the slaves in the family plot, but they didn't put names on them. I don't know why that was, why they didn't at least, you know, those poor people didn't even get a name put on their stone. I don't know if it was illegal. One thing I heard that it was illegal. So I don't know. I really don't know, but it's sad. But there's quite a few of them here with nothing. But maybe even, so they would possibly, I don't know, like these hand carved ones, like this one with just initials, not that one. Sorry, which one is it? No, that one has writing on it too. So some of the ones that's 1900 died January 27th or 29th. Possibly the ones with just the initials, like this one here, like I showed you. Possibly that was a favorite slave that they at least put the initials on and hid the fact that it was this person was a slave. I don't know, because if it was illegal, obviously they didn't want to get in, you know, they didn't want to get in trouble. So maybe they just put initials on here. I mean, look at these. Look at these hand carved. This is a Wingard. I can see Wingard, but I really can't. And I don't want to push on the stone because it's leaning quite a bit, and I'm afraid I'll break it. And God forbid I break one of these stones. It's loose, but I can't really, like I said, I can't really read it. The sun, with the sun so bright, and with the, you know, these, a lot of these stones are worn down to some to almost, they're ill. You can't read them. You just can't read them. But the fast again, so it could be that these empty slabs were slaves, but it could also be that because it was a farm, you can tell that a lot of these were hand carved, that they just didn't take the time. I don't know. I really don't know. My assumption though, that they were slaves. So there's quite a few stones out here. I would say there's close to 30, or maybe perhaps a little bit more. And here's where a stone was that the head cap is missing. So maybe somebody stole it. Maybe it just got destroyed. I really don't know. But here's the trail that I used to walk. This is how I discovered the place by accident, because I never heard anybody talk about it. Even the Wingard that I knew before he died never mentioned this gravesite, that his family was. So he's probably was connected to these people. So back where these telephone lines are going, it goes down like a 25-30 degree incline, very steep mountain. And that's where I used to walk up, and it's about a 15-20 minute hike. But again, I chose it on purpose because I wanted a tough hike. And then I came up here and I discovered this gravesite. So then this is where I came in from, because I found out that there's a street beyond that yellow fence that you saw me go under. So that's how I discovered that I can just drive up here, and I wanted to do that instead of taking that long haul, that very arduous hike up this mountain beyond here where these telephone poles go. So that's it, folks. So that's what I learned about it. This is the Wingard Family Farm Cemetery. And obviously at one time this was a farm, perhaps over here, because there's flat land over here. It was probably a big farm, might even been a plantation. And I guess, you know, there's still Wingards here, and they don't want to be associated with, you know, that their family was slave owners and stuff. But I think I've seen other grave sites with plain slabs just sticking out of the ground, and from my experience and in my studies, I found out that those were mostly slave burial sites, and that's what they did. And you know, like I said, they were a group. maybe they never even left their town. You know, it was horse and buggies back then, guys, you know, so guys and gals. And so, you know, they would marry their second and third cousins too. So maybe this is why there's two different Wingards spelled differently. And also they, you know, so the slaves that they had on some of these smaller plantations, you know, I don't know if they considered some of them as family, you know, and they all worked together to survive. I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying that, you know, put yourself back, you know, 100 years or more than 100 years ago, and imagine that, you know, you were stuck on this farm. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. Everybody was surviving. You know, I'm sure the farm owners, even then, in a lot of these places, you know, even they didn't really have much of a life. They lived on the farm, and this is how they survived. So so a lot of times, you know, I'm assuming that the slaves, even some of them on some of the plantations at least, I can't imagine just being treated totally like a farm animal. I mean, I'm sure it was the case like that on a lot of these places too. But I think some of them, from the stories that I read, that some of them were considered family almost. You know, I mean, not totally. I mean, obviously, but you know what I mean. Like it wasn't, like we saw in the movies. Not all of them, but I'm sure a lot of them were. And I'm not defending their actions or anything. I'm just saying that I just try to put myself back in those times. Okay, how was it really like? You know what I mean? Anyway, so there's something else also interesting I found earlier. And so these are a bunch of slate pieces. It looks like there was something here. And you can see this is a modern wooden post. There's a couple modern wooden posts. There's a couple older ones out here I forgot to show you. So back over here, these look like maybe, I mean, I don't know if they could have lasted over 100 years, but these are some old fence posts here. So maybe back in the 20s or something, somebody put these old fence posts, and these are really old, you can tell. So that was a tree stump or something. So, you know, and look at these saw marks. You can tell on the saw marks. So this was milled in an old-fashioned mill. So I'm assuming that for sure, maybe this was around in the 20s or the 30s. You can see the saw marks on there. So that is definitely from a very old sawmill done. So, you know, you can see there's just one there in the corner. There's another one over here. Of course, this one. And of course, here's the middle one. So this was definitely fenced in at one time. This one doesn't look so old, but nobody does this nowadays, you know. Sticks a wooden post. So maybe that's from the 40s. I don't know. I don't know when the farm was disbanded, or even the family sold it to the water company over here. And this is an electrical substation here, probably just to run the water treatment plant there. But anyway, that's it, folks. So that's all I know. That's all I know. That this is called the Wingard family farm cemetery. That's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry, sometimes I ramble on, and sometimes I jump from one subject to the next really quickly without finishing my story. That's just how my mind works. I apologize for that. But anyway, I hope you found this interesting, guys and gals. So have a good one until the next time. I do have a Civil War, I mean, not a Civil War, a Revolutionary War cemetery to go to next. I think that's the one I'm going to do next, is the Revolutionary. It's a little bit of ways. It's like an hour's drive from here, that I found accidentally where I used to go camping. I still camp there every once in a while, but anyway, that one is really interesting, but it's very small, not even half the size of this. It is, I don't know, I can't remember how many are buried there, but somebody definitely takes care of that one. So I'll probably post that one next, but look for my videos, because this is my very first one. And there is a lot of grave sites like this out here in this area where I'm at, in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And I will start to post some of these, because I think they're really cool. And especially, like I said, I never seen these hand-carved barnyard, I want to call them barnyard grave stones made, because that's exactly what they are. All right, folks, enjoy your day, and hopefully you see my next videos. Thank you. Bye.